So Gravity is about to release a new official server, Ragnarok LATAM, aimed at Latin America. LATAM is Latin America. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I also want to talk a little bit about Gravity's new financial report. They just released a new one for 2024 and give some updates on the channel, explain why I couldn't make more videos recently, and also the future of the channel. So let's start with Ragnarok LATAM. It will be released on the 20th of May, very soon, right? In a month, within a month, late May will be released. I will play there, at least in the first weeks. I will hop on the hype train and I will ride that hype wave until it lasts. I participated a little bit in the open beta and it was so good to play on a super populated server. What you're watching on the screen are some recordings I did while I played. Also, some cities have a new soundtrack, which is basically a Latin American version of the originals. For instance, they made a tango out of Geffin's original soundtrack, and to be honest, I quite like it. And they are offering support in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. This means you can play the game in any of these languages. I think that's super great, and I thought it was a bit strange that they added English. I mean, there's already Iro, right? The international, which is not really international, right? It's essentially the North American server, and it's in English. So why add English for a Latin American server? For Guyana, Belize? Well, maybe, who knows, they might make LATAM available worldwide. I managed to play it without using VPN, and that was wonderful for me. There was some lag, yes, but I'm pretty sure it was due to the high number of people online, and most likely they weren't ready for that many people online. So I'm inviting you all to play with me in LATAM. Let's meet on the 29th of May, not the 28th, let's meet on the 29th of May in a pub in Frontera. I will invite you all to play slowly. Create a nice background for your character, think of a gimmick. I won't be playing full-on roleplay mode. I don't want to do this, at least not for now, because it requires some commitment. Later on I will explain why I cannot do this now. So I want to play with a very light roleplay background, just like Flamma. There was a fire mage, a genie disguise, just that. But in-game, just play the game. And I want to lean a bit more into the self-imposed rules. And I will talk more about that in the future. For now, I just want to invite you all to play with me in these different styles, like, I don't know, an airbender ninja, or a water-only mage, or perhaps a Buddhist monk. But I have things to say about Gravity and this new LATAM server. There are some complications and some stuff that isn't so good. So about being able to play without a VPN, there is a problem here. Though they haven't affirmed whether they will enforce or not an IP block in the future, they might. I read the terms of service and it's not so good, at least for the people in Europe. And let me show you guys. I'm gonna open here the terms of service. And they don't mention Latin America at all in the terms of service. At all. It doesn't appear here. I mean, of course, the server is catered to Latin America, but they leave it open that they might, I don't know, maybe anyone on Earth can play it. Except Europe. Europe is the only place on Earth that that's mentioned here. No other continent or country is mentioned here. Not even Latin America. The word Latin does not appear here in the terms of service of the Latin American service, but Europe does. Limitations on service access territories. Gravity officially notifies that it does not offer any services to European users. That does not mean that they will block the IPs, because to block the IPs they need to actually go on and block the IPs. They can just state they're not offering any service, but maybe they will enforce some IP block. I don't know. For now they haven't, but they might. They even go on to say that if you are a European user, please do not attempt to access the website or attempt to play any games through any Gravity service. Furthermore, if you acquire a new nationality for any reason and become a European user after using Gravity service, you must notify Gravity to terminate your user account and access to Gravity services under the terms of this license agreement. This is crazy, right? And you become an European user, so that means that if you move to Europe, you should notify Gravity and they will terminate your account. Who will do that? That's completely insane. Well, anyway, so that's some problem, right? But I still have some hope that they will just stop at that and just asking Europeans not to play the game, and that LATAM might become a truly international server. I mean, Airo is not really international. In order for me to play with you guys, I cannot do so in an official server without most of us having to use a VPN, which isn't ideal. I have been using VPN to play. I've been using to play on Bro and Airo, the Brazilian server, and the international. It's not international. I'm gonna call it the North American server, and I've been using it for years. But not everyone wants to use VPN. If they do add some IP block for Europe, well, at least it'll be easier to access LATAM than Bro, because Bro, the official Brazilian server, it also has IP block. Only Brazilian IPs can access it. And even if you use a VPN, sometimes it doesn't work. I have used ExpressVPN, NordVPN, and currently I use Surfshark. And in NordVPN and Surfshark, sometimes when you access, you choose the country. But in the past NordVPN, you could choose exactly the IP address in the country. There was a list of options, but now you can't anymore. At least last time I used it, you couldn't. And Surfshark is the same, you just choose the country. And every time you choose a country, it randomly assigns you one of their IPs in that country. Usually NordVPN has way more addresses in every country, and that's the case for Brazil as well, and Surfshark has only 3. Out of the 3, only 1 works to access the Brazilian server. So if they do have this, if they only block European IPs, that will be easier, right? I mean, essentially any IP address in anywhere outside of Europe will be okay to use, right? So it's going to be easier to access it. But I don't know. We have to wait and see, I guess, right? Now there is something else. Airo, the international one, is managed by Warp Portal, which, by the way, also manages the Brazilian server as well. Warp Portal is essentially just a branch of Gravity Inc., which is itself a branch of Gravity in Korea, the mother company, which, by the way, is owned by Gung Ho, I don't know how to pronounce it, the company that manages the official Japanese server. LATAM will be managed by Gravity itself, directly by them, the GN Joy, that's the website here. At least they claim that that's what they're doing, which is strange because it's not like Warp Portal is someone else, right? It's still Gravity. But whatever, let's say that it's more directly by Gravity. It's not really, because the people taking care of this new LATAM server are the people who were already taking care of the Brazilian server. I never made a video reviewing the Brazilian server. I should have done one. Perhaps I will. But I have played on Bro, the Brazilian server, for many years. And I stopped, then returned, and it's been 7 years I returned to that server. About 7 years. And I stopped. I deleted the Brazilian server. Because the staff abandoned it completely. Just to give attention to this new LATAM one. And that's not nice, right? Maybe I shouldn't play not even this LATAM. Gravity does some movements that really sucks. It's not nice. But I don't know. It's really nice when there are lots of people. And I just want to enjoy that. I just want to enjoy when there are lots and lots of people online. And that's it. Essentially, it boils down to that. But I don't have hopes that the staff is fascinating and they're going to do a great job. I don't have hopes for that. I just want to enjoy, wow, it's really nice and there are tons of people online. That's all. I mean, if having that in mind, having that mindset, and also not caring about the meta, because that's the style of playing like with fire only mage and spending like a month to reach 99, which in a renew server is a crazy insane amount of time. Usually you spend a day and you're already reborn and I don't know, 3rd class already, level, I don't know, 140. That's crazy. Nobody's that in a day, but still, the point still stands. Maybe I will make a video reviewing the Brazilian server. I have talked about the good, the bad, and now I gotta talk about the ugly part. And it seems that they're gonna go full on cash shop. At first they mentioned they wouldn't, and they are still stating that they're not gonna go full crazy on cash shop like the Japanese server is, but they are already implementing some rather crazy stuff. For instance, as part of announcing the server, they will do an orchestra concert, which is super nice. But if you buy a ticket, you have a tiny chance of winning an MVP card. In the Brazilian server, there are 2 servers there actually. One you have to pay to access it, you pay only once, Valhalla, and then you have VIP for life. And the other one, you don't need to pay to access it, but you gotta pay for VIP per month. Thor, that free one store, has a much higher population, and its cash shop is far more aggressive. They sell MVP cards in it. I know, Talon Tales, I've been playing there, it also sells MVP cards. But it's very easy to get access to it in-game. In-game you can get the currency that is the you want to use for cash shop. So you don't actually need to spend money on it. And also, and that's the most important part, Talon doesn't have the super overpowered gear from the Japanese servers. The MVP cards by themselves, they're as strong as they are, but nothing compared to this unbelievably overpowered cash shop gear that mostly comes from the Japanese server. And many MVP cards, they're not that good, they're not that amazing. They're amazing because there's some gear that, coupled with some MVP card, becomes insanely strong. They have said that they don't want to bring these Japanese crazy items, super overpowered gear, but I don't know. Also, I have a lot to say about this, because many builds, they're only viable with those crazy strong gear from the Japanese server, so some people, they defend it, but personally, I would rather play in a server with the lightest form of cash shop. Like, just some consumables, just some potions, like, or just, I don't know, just costumes, perhaps just that. Now, you might say that Gravity isn't a charity, right? They need to make money. They want to make money. Ragnarok is not a passion for them. It's a business. And I agree. But that doesn't mean they have to be so aggressive in the cash shop. So now I want to talk a little bit about the Gravity financial report. They released, like, I think yesterday, they released the financial report. And I have done already one video where I went into detail over it. And I'm not going to do it in this one. But I want to say some things about it. So first is that in 2024, so this last year, because the financial year refers to 2024, they still made a lot of money. They still made $48 million. So you can see here 48,275. That would be 48,000, right? But there's 1,000 again, that refers to million. That's the way they write in these financial things. So the 77.6 million is actually 77 billion wons. That's the Korean currency, because the Korean currency is, of course, it's very different, the value compared to the dollar. Anyway, 48 million, that's quite a lot, right? It is, it's a lot. It's 14% of the total revenue. And the year before, the 2023, they made more money with Ragnarok, and the revenue, what represented in the total revenue, was less, was just 10%. And that's because most of their money comes from mobile games. Actually, they have lost quite a lot of money from the mobile games, but they're still earning like an insane amount of money. $280 million in total, that's their total revenue. In the end of the year, it's here, just for mobile games, right? And so their profit is still quite large. It's later in this document here, they say how much they are earning, and it's quite a lot. It's $59 million. And that's quite a lot of money. Anyway, then that's the profit, huh? $59 million is just the profit, not the revenue. And for this big business, they don't need to actually make a profit. They can, if the revenue is insanely high, that's what matters more, because then in the stock market, they value more, the shares value more. And this document here is exactly for that. This document is exactly for the stock market. That's why they're showing this. It's actually for the American government, to operate in the American stock market. Anyway, it also says the amount of people playing the game, and it has reduced. It has reduced, but not by a huge amount. Like you can see, like the Korean server, 5.5 thousand peak users. That was lower than that in the past, so maybe it will go up. It seems that it has been going down on all of them, and perhaps it has. But it comes and goes, so I don't think it's a drastic reduction. I think it's roughly the same. Look, first quarter of 2022, it was like 6.9 thousand peak users in Japan, now 6.5. USA, look, it's not that much of a difference. Actually, it went up a little bit compared to a few years ago. But anyway, I can't say much more about these things. Also, because I want to talk about that Nerd Slayer video about the death of Ragnarok Online. He made that video like 2 years ago. And he even used some footage from my videos, the first ones. and I've been waiting 2 years to make a video to answer him. And this is not that video. This one here, this current one, is not that video. I will make a separate video for that one to answer to Nerdslayer's videos. And why did I wait for 2 years? Well, because the best proof that the game is still alive is to wait some years and check. And by that I mean how the private community is going, because that's part of the game, and the game overall. I think there are many. I like Nerdslayer, his videos. I don't care him as a person. I don't know him as a person, so I couldn't care less about that. But I liked his videos. I think I have watched many of his videos in the past. Nowadays I don't watch so many anymore. It's been quite some time. I did watch the one for Ragnarok Online, and I have a lot to say about that. And it shows also the limitations of reviewing an MMO. It's not easy, right? MMOs are not like other, like I don't know, Zelda, that you can play and review it. MMOs, they require a lot of commitment, and you play for many years, and then you understand better the game. You cannot review all MMOs. I will talk about that, but I waited 2 years because these financial reports, they matter as well for me to prove my point. I will make that video in the future very soon. I hope it's very soon. It's been really hard for me to make videos recently, and that's because my son was born, which is both amazing, but it also requires a lot of effort. It's my first kid. I was doing a hardcore permadeath challenge in Tile Tales. I have to stop it. So whenever I get time, I will do one single video, the Hardcore Tales, I'm gonna call it, where I say a bit about all the hardcore adventures I did in Tile Tales. I did many different hardcore challenges in there. It was very nice, but I won't play hardcore anymore, no permadeath anymore, because I cannot play for too long, and more importantly, I must be able to pause when I play because of the baby. And it's hard to do that now. I have to give attention to the baby. Like even recording this, I had to stop several times to help with the baby. I will still play some Ragnarok Online. I'm not stopping to play the game, but chances are I will play some other games where I can pause online games. We cannot pause. Also, the editing of those gameplay videos, the ones for Ragnarok, the ones I did recently, the Axe Only Knight, the Fire Only Mage, I spent a lot of time doing them because I spent a lot of time watching and rewatching all of the footage, and it's many hours of footage, trying to select what to put, then adding some more editing on top of it, some effects, you know, that kind of stuff. Also, those animations of the words, they would also take some time. I like doing them, but I don't have this much free time anymore. A video like this one, this current one, where I simply say my opinion with some footage, they're much easier to do. Future Ragnarok videos where... So my future Ragnarok videos here, there will be opinion pieces like this current one and some gameplay, but without editing. Just me playing and talking at the same time, like the one I did where I reviewed Arrow, the international. Remember, I had a series that I only did for Arrow and the European server, where I would play and review the server. And for Arrow, actually, it was a bit different. I just played and talked. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play and talk and do some opinion pieces, but more fancier videos, I cannot do them at the moment. I can't. I do everything for this channel and I have no help at all, so I cannot do them. And you will see me releasing videos about other games here in the channel, at least one on Minecraft because of my newborn baby. I have some ideas here. Anyway, I want to share with you guys, but later. If they don't perform well, I might simply start a new channel and leave this one solely for Ragnarok Online, albeit with less videos. I have a lot to say about games and game in general. I have a PhD in philosophy, and actually that's how I earn a living. And there's so much I have to say about philosophy in games. I see many videos out there and I see people saying some wrong stuff, but also some nice stuff. And I know a lot about that. That's how I earn a living. And I have so much to say about philosophy in games and how games can have art and philosophy in them. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I'm deciding whether I should do video essays in this channel or another. I'm still thinking about that. That's it, guys. I might release more videos before the 28th of May, but the invitation stands from today. Let's meet and let's play with self-imposed rules in this slow way in LATAM from the 29th. Let's meet. I will try to arrange one specific time that we can all meet. Perhaps on the 30th or the 29th of May, and then we can always start together. That's it, guys. Thank you very much.